welcome to the live stream. We're going to talk about family service today. We're going to talk about the positions of the family. We're going to talk about what a marriage is. We're going to talk about leadership. We're going to talk about the misconceptions um, that you might have about love. We're going to talk about the duties, the responsibilities, the roles of the husband, the mother, and the child. And I hope this live stream blesses you. Okay? If you want to watch this back, you can go back to my YouTube. I'm streaming live on all platforms. Well, actually, not Facebook today. Something's going on with Facebook. But everything else, I'm live on. I actually encourage everybody to go over to my YouTube regardless. But welcome in. Family service is the way forward, okay? What you need to know, okay, is the greatest things of value, or the greatest valued things in your life, were given to you for free. Your family, most valuable thing that you had when you were born. Now, as life developed, some family became estrayed. Some, despised family. Some family even told you that you're not part of the family. Who knows? Family first is always a good rule of thumb. But if family is outside of purpose, then they need to go. Now, in a family, how is a family even recognized? Usually it's by the last name. What's your last name? My last name is Woods. Okay? All right. So what ends up happening is you get married, and if you're a woman, your last name changes. Now more and more women are deciding on not changing their last name. They want to keep their original family name. Well, typically you hmm. Well, I don't know what to say about the audio if you're on Instagram. I'm sorry. I can't do anything about it. But family is how you are supposed to create legacy. And a lot of people have a deep desire, have this urge, this pull, this vibrato to create legacy. You want people to remember you somehow. But do you really know what legacy is? I mean, for real, do you know what legacy is? Legacy is something that you transfer to your children. Or legacy, number one, it depends on your name. When people hear Kyle, Woods owned, or they jump on, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and they see my platform. Maybe they've seen a video or two, and they're like, oh, it's the guy that talks about demons. It's the guy that talks about empaths and healers. Oh, it's the guy that talks about love. It's the guy that talks about, communication skills. It's the guy that talks about your mind. It's the guy that talks about personal hygiene. It's the guy that talks about business. He tries to connect business to the spirit world. What a strange guy. So all of that remembrance is what legacy is. That's legacy. Okay? And legacy um is, it starts with your name, but it's only tangible in business, money, products, or assets. Now, if you want to transfer your legacy, you cannot, I repeat, you cannot transfer emotions. How many people here know their great great grandfather? How many people here know who their great 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 grandmother is and what she did for a living? Many people are trying to create legacy with a 9 to 5 job. That's literally not going to work. It never was designed to be like that. But far too often, okay, far too often, um, far too often we think legacy is like good standing, a transfer of good standing. Okay, and that is not at all legacy. Okay, legacy itself is like many people think that's what legacy is, and many people, if they are able to um I don't know, like if they are able to get out of um like the trap of mm, I don't even know how to say this. If you can understand that you were not designed to work a 9 to 5 job, you then can start to begin building your legacy. For real. If your legacy is dependent on your 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 retirement and you live in an apartment, what do you think is going to happen? Okay, what what do you think is going to happen? You live in an apartment complex. Cool, great. But your children aren't going to have a step up, or any kind of help or boost. Every generation, we're not only supposed to be getting smarter, we're supposed to be getting financially better. We're supposed to be healthier. We're supposed to be progressively better in every shape and way possible. Okay? Um, this this is why I'm trying so hard to like dig down deep and show people video by video that your purpose is always tied to God. Your purpose is somehow tied to serving the people, but pleasing God. A lot of people think that we are supposed to be serving God. We're supposed to be pleasing God, not serving God. That's the truth. That's the truth. And I know that's going to shake some people up, but you're supposed to be pleasing God, not serving God. Serving, you only serve people who are in need or things that are in need. Okay? You are only supposed to serve things that are in need. When you don't have um, um, hmm, when you are unaware that your oh Jesus. Hmm, that's interesting. All right. So your purpose is always tied to God. Why? Because God created you. And the purpose that you are to have can be discovered in your design. And your design is basically how you fit in. Okay, there are systems in place all around you. And how do you fit into that puzzle piece? Okay, um, that this puzzle piece, all right, this puzzle piece is uniquely tailored to who you are. Okay, this puzzle piece is only for who you are and nobody else. When you can discover how you actually fit in, how you help the whole system move along, ultimately, this is how you pour back into abundance. Okay? This is how you pour back into abundance. This is how you are able to please God. Okay? And God is not abundance. God is not the universe. God is not the Milky Way or the trees. God created all of that stuff. Okay? Um, so the issue here is like connecting it back to family is there are roles in your family that you have, okay, as a man, as a woman, as a child, okay, as a man, as a woman, as a child. And if you don't think you do have a role, then you're probably going to create chaos in the family unit. Now, I had a good session with this young man earlier today, and you know, great conversation. He he volunteered some information about himself. He said, "Hey, I'm at work. I'm a leader, and people follow me." Okay, and then I told him what leadership is. Now, if you think leadership doesn't exist in the family, you're wrong. It absolutely does. Okay? Leadership absolutely does. There's no possibility for it not to, actually. Now, you might get or have a bad relationship with what leadership is, but leadership is not only about the leader, leadership is also about the person who follows. The person who follows also has rules, regulations, duties, tasks to fulfill. But I want to let you know, um, uh, each each role, um, like the Bible talks about each role and like their duties and responsibilities. The father, the mother, the husband, the wife, all that stuff. And I want to tell you what it says. So first, I mean, we all know that God has order. Okay, we all know that God has order in the family unit. Christ, man, woman, child. Christ, man, woman, child. Christ, man, woman, child. Do you know what the word wicked is means? Well, I do. The word wicked, it means evil principles. Okay, we wrestle not with flesh and blood, meaning your enemy doesn't have skin on. Your enemy does not have on skin. We wrestle not with flesh and blood. Okay, your enemy does not have on skin. Okay, so, and meaning it's not a human being. Okay, it's not a dog either. It's demons. Okay, they are evil principles. Okay, so the word wicked, it means evil principles, evil practices, evil habits. Evil meaning against God. Okay, against good. And you, I want you to know most evil is not violent. Most things that are actually evil are not actually a violent process. And people who are evil often will they will um, smile it in your face. They will be so kind, so nice to you, so like polite, but they will be evil. So like wicked principles is being slothful, like being lazy, avoiding your responsibilities, allowing emotions to lead you. If you're full of worry, that's a sin. That means you're worshiping demons and how good they are doing at ruining your life, to steal, kill, and destroy. If you are gluttonous, right? If you eat until your belly is full, you know, that is that's evil. Okay, that's evil. If you think every meal you are that you eat that you're supposed to have a full belly, you're wicked. Okay, you're not supposed to do that. Um, what's another one? Like if you're ever proud of yourself, you know, oh, I'm so proud of my accomplishment. Kyle, I'm so proud of you. That's wicked. That's evil. Okay. Some of the things that God detests the most are like being proud. Like pride is a sin. The word proud, it means um, guilty of the sin of pride. Okay, the word proud, it means guilty of the sin of pride. So if you are prideful, pride, it means the love of display. But the way pride gets people is they they feed off of the applause of the audience. So then your measuring tool of growth is the cheers and the applause of everyone else. So not only does that feel good, you make it mandatory for you to grow or for you to even exist with applause. The reason why, like the real root reason why pride is a deadly sin is because people who are proud or prideful, indirectly or subconsciously create themselves as a lesser God. And you need people to worship you instead of worshiping God. This is why pride is dangerous. It creeps in. It like a thief in the night, they say. You know, lust. Lust is another one of those sins that, you know, we all struggle with. Lust means any source of pleasure or delight. Any source of pleasure or delight. The demon that distracts you. You don't know when you are distracted until an outside source says, hey, Kyle, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. Okay, any source of pleasure or delight. So, like these wickedness, evil principles exist in many different ways. Most wickedness is actually not violent. It's not even like blatantly rude. Like it's not totally against you, or it doesn't appear that way. You know, they welcome you into their open arms. Okay, wickedness. So what I'm about to say about the family unit is very important. Okay, putting your child first is wicked. It's evil. It's an evil principle. God did not design it that way. Children can't even lead. They don't understand leadership. They don't understand bureaucracy, democracy, dictatorship. They don't understand laissez-faire. You know, any other type of leadership style. They don't understand what it means, let alone how to lead you. Why in the world would you put your child first? It's wicked. Okay? Christ, man, woman, child. That's how it goes. Somebody has to be first. Now, let's talk about parents. Okay? Can we talk about parents? Thank you. So, in Proverbs 22:6, it says, parents, train up the child the way he should go. Train up your child the way he should go. Train him. I'm here to tell you, most parents are wicked. They don't train their kids. Most parents don't even raise their kids. They just manage them. You send them off to school. You ask how their school day went. There's one or two things that your child may have told you that you don't want them to do. You just tell them not to do that with no explanation, no life lesson, no nothing. There's no training. For real, training. I'm sorry, it's true, okay? Train up your child the way he should go. Most parents are wicked. Fathers, do not provoke your child to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Okay? Fathers, don't make your child upset on purpose, intentionally. Don't do that. You will move them. You will then remove yourself out of their life when they get older. It's a principle, okay? Do not upset your children on purpose. Now, it does say, you know, to bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. So like discipline, it means the lesson. It doesn't necessarily mean take off your belt and beat them physically. It means give them the lesson, okay? And lesson is more than just information, okay? A lesson is more than just information. A lesson is experience, life experience. I truly don't I truly think most parents don't understand what it means to raise their children. Management is not raising. If, like, you guys treat your employees and your children the exact same way. You know what I'm saying? You treat your children and your employees the exact same way. You're only managing symptoms. You're not training your children. Parents are called to teach, discipline, and nurture children in God's ways, period. Okay? Husbands and wives. Let's get on husbands and wives. Okay? In Ephesians 5:25, it says, "Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." Husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church. Can somebody tell me how did Christ love the church? Did he go in there and give the church absolutely everything that the church wanted? Because there were many churches. Did Christ go into every church and say, "Hey, ask you, I want to give everything to this church right here"? And he considered that love. He made sure the church was in order. He set boundaries. And in fact, there's an example of Jesus flipping over tables, destroying the church because they weren't doing the right thing. Now, of course, husbands, don't turn over your tables in your house. You know, love, okay, love is about honoring the position of the other person with respect. Okay, so if you are my wife, if you are my wife, not only am I supposed to, or you will have my family vision, what I want my last name to do. It's a couple of sheets of paper, the education, like what I want my family to be educated, you know, what I want them to, like the family reunions, how to, you know, bring down the recipes, you know, how to, you know, health standards, quarrel, you know, disputes, all that stuff. Okay, I'm going to give my wife a guide to at least understand which direction that I'm going in. I think Christ did that for the church. I think Christ showed the church the direction that they should go. Also, in Ephesians 5:22, it says, "Wives, submit to your husbands as to the Lord." I know online it gets real testy. You start talking about submitting. I think one of my dog's hairs is on my dang eye. You know, online we have a lot of discussions about, you know, women can't submit, and, you know, men can't lead, and all this other stuff. I despise arguing. I despise debating, all that stuff, this intellectual jousting. I despise it with all my heart. I despise it. It doesn't sit right with me. It always gets me emotional. meaning I always experience the emotion. I might be sitting there stoic, but I always get upset. Like, why won't they just understand what I'm saying? Why don't you get what I'm saying? Why do you have to always try to one up me? I don't like that. So I don't participate in any of this, foolishness. But number one, sub, submitting to anything, you have to go back to the word. Okay, in the beginning was the word. You need to um, be able to first see that there is a mission. You can only submit to a mission. Okay, submission means mission under a mission. Sub under mission. Okay, the mission underneath the mission. Okay, that's what submission means. It does not mean like blind obedience. It means I see that Kyle has a mission in this, and I see that he's not doing this well. I see that he could be doing this better, or there might be a people talking about him online, so I'm gonna go ahead and block them. Okay, that would be submissive. Okay, and if you are a man, like you understand you're not always the dominant one. Your wife might want to go out and walk, and you don't want to walk. You just got back from the gym. You're like, why do I have to go walking? You say, okay, darling, I'll get up and I'll go walking with you. That's you being submissive. It's fine. Okay, but I think the Bible says this because if you understand your position as the wife, as the woman in the house, you understand that the man is already ahead of you. Pride exists in the woman as well. Okay, the demon called Leviathan rules pride, and often this demon is not only about pride, he's also about envy. Okay, Leviathan rules over the deadly sin called envy, and envy is when envy possesses you, you think that your world is not good enough. One way or the other. Either I don't want Kyle to have what he has. He's my leader. He's the man of the house. I don't want him to be the man of the house. Or envy also shows up as, God, why did you make me a woman? I'd rather be a man so I could be the head of the house. I want to take care of everything. I want to be praised. Why? So envy shows up in self-pity, and it also shows up as arrogance, pride, the love of display. Okay? So when you don't I believe the Bible put that in there because they knew the struggles of women in the house, understanding that they are not first. And envy can creep in like what? Like a thief in the night. And it's strange, but I think that's why it's in the Bible. To provide a blueprint. Hey, this is it, you're going to struggle here. You're going to struggle here. But if you decide on the correct man, you don't have to struggle so much because that man will lead you correctly. Okay? But remember, submitting is not slavery. Submitting, you after I say, let's go to the beach this weekend, um, right after I say that, you say, okay, I'll get the towels ready. I'll get the sunscreen, the water and the sandals ready. I'll get everything ready for it. That's you being submissive. That's not slavery. So people don't understand being a follower is voluntary. Being a follower is voluntary. You have to volunteer to follow the leader. Only in a dictatorship do you not have the ability to volunteer out. You are here and you do what I say. That's dictatorship. Okay? Um, so the husband serves as a sacrificial love of protection. And just know, okay, just know that a husband cannot protect what he cannot correct. That's something that you all should take with you. If you are a woman and you want a wife and you don't allow him to correct you, what you're wearing, dangerous friends, dangerous activities that he might see in you, if you aren't willing to allow him to correct you, don't expect him to be excited to protect you. Because in his mind, he's thinking, why would I give my life for somebody who I can't even tell that skirt is too small? Why would I give my life for this woman who is arguing with me, debating about a piece of clothing that will attract the wrong type of man to her? I could die protecting a woman that don't even want me to heed my instructions. Remember, okay, the Bible says, wives, submit to your husband as to the Lord, because I think the Bible knows women or wives will struggle with envy in this position. Okay? And remember, emotions do not rule you. Emotions are not your master. Emotions are not anything that guides you. They're not a compass. They're not supposed to be indications that you are thriving or not thriving. Emotions are not that. Okay? So, husbands and wives. Husbands serve with sacrificial love and protection. Okay? Wives serve with respect, wisdom, and partnership. What is wisdom? Do you know what wisdom is? Do you understand what wisdom is? Wisdom, okay? Wisdom, the word, it means spiritual truth. That's what wisdom means. Spiritual truth. So that means wisdom itself is not a brain function. You do not gain wisdom through information. You gain wisdom through experience, through a person like a teacher like me or Jesus or Osho or Buddha, right? Or even demons. Demons have wisdom. Did you know that? Demons have wisdom, but not the good type of wisdom. What is demonic wisdom called? It's called wickedness. Remember, the word wicked means evil principle. When you have an evil principle, a habit that goes against God, when you are an addict, an alcoholic, when you are addicted to pornography, when you are addicted to things easy, things that are fun, You won't do anything, start your business if it doesn't feel good. If you don't have faith, that's wicked. If you want to put the child first in the family, that's wicked. If you don't want to provide for your family as a husband, that's wicked. Okay? And one second. All right. So there's all types of activities that you can do that are wise or wicked. Okay, but wicked and wisdom are both spiritual truths. Okay, those two things are both things that your spirit has accepted as true. Okay, um, and I'm actually let me turn it up. Okay, I am actually building a a course, an online course that teaches you how to master your mind. And this is literally the accumulation of all of everything that I have been online for. This is this is my purpose in life. The course that I'm going to build. Anyway, I won't get too deep into that. Now, marriage, okay, marriage is it's a covenant. Okay? Marriage itself is a covenant. But the Bible um the Bible annotates or acknowledges three types of marriage. There are three ways you can get married to a person according to the Bible. Number one, it's arranged marriages. You if your mom and your neighbor's mom says, "Hey, our next children, if they are opposite sex, will get married." Okay? And voila. Okay, that's arranged marriage. Two is if you have sex with somebody, physical sex. Okay, there are so many men and women that are married according to the Bible that do not know, and you're just walking around committing adultery. Okay, number three is legal marriage. Of course, legal marriage. Go into the courts. Those three ways are what the Bible acknowledges as marriage. Now, there's a difference between a covenant and a contract. A covenant exists because I trust and I love you. That's why covenants are here. If you got with me, and let's say you're my neighbor, a man, and it's not non-sexual, okay? If you told me, "Hey, I will help your business out no matter what," it's because I trust you and I love you, and I really think what you're doing in the world is great. So you just let me know if you're if you're on hard times. I'll do everything in my power. So help me God. Okay? And that covenant, if I did not give everything in order to help your business grow, then like back in the day, we would prove this by like killing one of our like livestock, like a sheep or a lamb or something like that, right? So what happened to the lamb if I don't do what I'm telling you to do? What happened to the lamb will happen to me, meaning I will die. I will die if I don't help you in every way possible. Okay? On the other hand, in marriage between man and woman, people are getting divorced because they're not happy. Nowhere in the Bible does it say, because I'm not happy. Did you know love is not even about happiness? Okay? Love is not even about feelings. So many people are confused. So many people are so confused. But hopefully you figure it out. So covenants are here because you love and trust the other person. A contract is here for the opposite reason. Let's say I have a plumber. Okay, let's say I have to hire a plumber to fix my sink, and I don't know the plumber personally or really professionally. I only looked them up on Google, and I looked at some of the reviews, great reviews, but other than that, I don't know them. A contract needs to be in place because I don't trust this guy. I don't know this person at all that's coming into my house. If they break anything, if they steal something, if they don't live up to what they said on paper, on this contract, I own them. Now I own them. And also, it works for them. Okay, if they do everything that they say that they're going to do, and I don't pay them, they own me. They'll take me to court. You know, they'll do whatever it takes legally to get the money. Okay, so a covenant and a contract, husband and wife. Okay, husbands are for wife. Okay, husbands are for wives. Wives are for husbands. Wives are for husbands. Husbands are for wives. I'm going to leave that there. Children, child. Okay, what does the Bible say about children? So, I'm going to backtrack. Is marriage about distrust? People get married legally for tax reasons. Okay, modern day people get married through the courts is for tax reasons. It's a tax write-off. You will be able to go in business with your husband or your wife so that you both can have a more prosperous life and navigate the tax system better. Okay, but we don't need the courts to be married. In other countries, the legal court system is not it doesn't work over there. Like, you just go to the tribe elder and say, hey, I want to get married, but it's not legal. It's just understood, okay? Or arranged marriage. So if you have a covenant with your wife or your husband, a covenant, it's because I trust you with my life, and I'll do everything. I'll do everything for you and with you. If I see that you are down to your last dollar, I'll sell my left shoe so that you can eat. If I know that that you're sick, I don't care what I have to do. I'm going across the world to get the cure. So, let's move on to children. What does the Bible say about children? Children and their responsibility. Honor your father and mother. Okay? Honor your father and mother. And this is the first time God promises anything in the commandments. Okay. If you do so, it may go well with you. That, meaning your life will be better if you honor your father and your mother. It's so easy to dishonor them. Do you know what honor is? Anybody know what honor is? Honor. Honor is when you acknowledge a piece, or excuse me, you acknowledge the position of the person. That's honoring. Now, honoring and worship are not the same thing, okay? People confuse honor when they hear this and think you are supposed to say that you love them all the time. No, there are times when you actually don't like them. You actually might hate your parents, but it does not say for you to worship them. And in so many other parts of the Bible, it says, take heed to your father's instructions. Hold them tight. You'll gain wisdom. Okay, do not stray from the instructions of your father. Okay, it says glory. So honor, it means dignity, distinction, position, victory, triumph. As I was saying, reputation. When you, like me, I'm adopted. Okay, my father, my real father, only met the dude 3 times. He's dead now. My mother hooked on drugs her entire life. My entire life, she was hooked on drugs. Okay. I grew up thinking that with the mindset that they hated me, that they didn't want me. Furthest from the truth. They were dealing with their own demons, just like your parents are dealing with their own demons. Now there are parents out there that legit are horrible parents. Now, I'm not on here to get a group of people to help bash their own parents and attack their parents. So if that's you, hush your mouth. Honoring your parents just means that you say and acknowledge that this person is your father. Yes. He and this is what he does. This person is your mother. Yes. This is what she does. Your emotions do not get to tell you who is your new father or your new mother. I don't care how you feel. You don't get to adopt a father. Now you might have a stepfather or a father-in-law, okay, or you might even have an adopted father, okay, but your father, your dad, your daddy, your first male relative, there's no person that can replace that. Just like your mother, your mom, your mommy, nobody can ever replace her. I know, trust me. When I was growing up, I always had questions about my real mom, my real dad. I always had questions. And people who are in foster care, like I was, and the kids growing up who are adopted, even if they're treated so well by their new family, like I was, you will still have questions about your real parents. Okay? Meaning, substitutes are not long lasting. They're not supposed to be there forever. Okay? Even if you don't like your dad, even if you don't like your mom, if you dishonor them, your days will be dark. It tells us that. Okay? It tells us that this is how people curse themselves without knowing it. Okay? People think, oh, if I break a mirror, I will, have 7 years bad luck. That is superstition. that's not real. Okay? If you dishonor your family, your father or your mother, you are cursing yourself even as a child. When you get to the age where you can read and you have the ability to read the Bible, um, you're almost no different from like in my assumption, if you can read the Bible and comprehend it, and you decide not to read the Bible, all of the instruction in there, it lies on you. Okay? In so many different cultures, they have questions on where does a child stop being a child? Is it 18? Is it 13? Is it when, like for young girls, is it when they have their first period? For men, is it when they start growing a beard? When is it that a child is no longer a child and they're now an adult? Okay. Strange practice here in the United States at 18 years old. Okay. At 18 years old, you kick your child out the house and they're supposed to go and have their life figured out completely. Now, in Mexico, you don't leave the house unless you get married. Everybody lives together. And I know a lot of people here in the United States make fun of people in Mexico because of that. And they're like, oh, it's like 6 of them living in the house. Do you know they are all working in the same business? While you send your child off and you're creating more generational poverty. They're not. They've figured something else out that works. Okay? Other like Indian cultures, they don't kick people out at 18 years old. They make sure that at least they have an education. That like people from India, like they're really, really big on education. That's why they come over here. They're your doctors, they're your scientists and stuff like that. Only then the father will release them, you know. So just take that into consideration, okay? And you should know, okay, if you dishonor your parents, you have the opportunity to be disgraced. Okay? You have the opportunity to be disgraced because you have disappointed, like you are now a disappointment. The word disappointment means your position has been removed. Appointment, disappointment. Okay, your appointment, what you are set out for, it has been removed. Meaning, like in a literal sense, if we all acted on the words correctly, if you were my employee and I caught you stealing, I would be disappointed. You would be fired. Okay. If you dishonor your parents, you have now you have removed the covering that God designed for you. Okay? Your father is supposed to cover you. Your mother is supposed to cover you. This is how it's supposed to be in spirit. And when you say things like, I wish I had a better mom. I wish, I don't look at you as my father. You are removing the spiritual covering that is supposed to be there. And what ends up happening is when you are disappointed, there's no more covering. And then what you experience is chaos. Okay, chaos internally. You have this unyielding sense of freedom. This is when you're like there's no boundaries to freedom. Freedom doesn't produce growth outside of boundaries. Freedom can only produce growth inside of boundaries. Okay, and the role of children are is to obey your parents. Now, of course, if your parents are saying to go against God in anything that God says, his commands, his commandments, and his ideas, like anything that God has said, if your parents say you need to just loosen up and have a drink with me, well, that goes against God completely. Okay, you need to just have sex with anybody you want. Well, that goes against God too, completely. Okay, but if your parents are hooked on drugs, like my mom was, okay, like my mom was hooked on crack cocaine my entire life, and when I met her for the first time, or one of the first times at 19, what ended up happening was she told me that you need to be a really good man. I remember she told me, Kyle, you need to be a good man. And she put her hand on the back of my head, and I looked at her with disgust, because I'm thinking, how can a person on drugs tell me to do better? I cursed myself without even knowing. Okay? And because what she was telling me was actually correct, I was letting emotions get in the way. So I say that to say, children, your children are designed, they're supposed to obey the parents. Christ, man, woman, child. Children don't come first. How can you obey and also be first? Where do they do that at? Okay? Your child cannot obey you and also tell you what to do. It's chaos in the house. I've seen it, okay? Some of the people that I'm coaching, okay, I'm not going to name names, but went over to their house, mom, dad, a daughter. I made sure to tell the dad, hey, before I come, make sure you have dinner out the way. I don't want any, empty bellies. I want everybody to be full before I talk to everybody. Okay, so I came. Dinner was good. I'm sitting on the couch. They're sitting over there. The daughter, I think she's 4. She's doing her thing right in the back. I'm talking to the mom and the dad. The daughter comes to the front, and what ends up happening is the daughter interrupts and says, and asks the mom, "Can I have a snack?" And I give this example all the time to my students, but it actually played out in real life. She asked the mom for a snack after she already ate dinner, and she saw that we adults were actively in communion. She interjected, and the mom looked connected. The dad instantly said, "No, we won't do that. Later, we're talking." The mom, of course, the more nurturing side, came out and said, "It's just a snack. It won't be long." The mom turned to me, asked for my permission. She asked for my permission. She said, you don't mind, right? Why not ask your husband's permission over me? I'm a stranger. This is bonkers. Okay? So, number one, the child came first in that house. Clearly, the child was first. The child was running things. Two, the child was promoted to the first by the mom. It probably happens more often than not. Chaos in the house. The man right in front of me, the husband right in front of me, was emasculated. I can see it. I can see it in his energy. He felt in front of another man that he didn't have control over his house. To the side, outside of his wife, I spoke to him, and his little talk. But there's order in the family. Okay, if the man is expected to provide, and I'm going to get into what provision is. If the man is expected to provide access to the supply, there's rules and regulations like order. Don't be rude. If you're a child, you got to listen to me, obey me. You're my child. You're supposed to obey me. Wife, if I am the sole provider, actually, no, wife, if you are my wife, and you see that I'm struggling, or you see that I am about to fail, being submissive is you plugging the holes so the ship don't sink. Now, the husband and wife experience things in a very different manner sometimes. Like there are pain points that the husband experiences, the wife never understands. And the wife experience like pain points that the wife experiences that the husband will never understand. Luckily, we all were children once upon a time, so we all cannot understand what children go through. So, being in front, I want you to imagine walking through the Amazon forest, the jungle or forest. I don't know the distinction between the two, but the forest or jungle of the Amazon. Let's say your husband is in front, clearing the path. He's hired some teams to kind of cut the trees down, and make sure that when you walk, you don't trip, you're safe. There's no animals. There's not that many bugs trying to bite you. You're good to go. Okay. Your husband is making sure of that. While he's doing that, he does not know if he's going to turn into a pile of quicksand. He's not going to, he doesn't understand if the next day at work will be his last day. He doesn't understand if I get hurt at work, will I have enough left for my family to survive, to thrive off of? Can they multiply with the seeds that I left them? Like, that's a fear most good men have. Not saying that women or wives don't have that, but I find it more prevalent in the husbands that I'm mentoring over the wives. Wives have the fear of the follower. It takes more courage to follow than to lead, because you are not in the driver's seat. You not only can't see where you're going, but you just have to follow your husband ahead of you chopping down the trees. You don't know where you're going, but you don't know what you don't know. It's like it's a double whammy for you. It's like multiplied. And that's why the Bible says, I think the Bible says, wives, submit to your husband, because it's difficult for wives to submit. It's difficult because of envy. Wives are attacked first. In the marriage, wives are attacked first. And I think that's described, Adam and Eve. Eve was attacked first. Eve was deceived first. And to take a kingdom down, get through to the wife, get through to the emotions. Okay? If you want to disrupt the order in the house, ask the child to ask the mom for a snack. Okay? So, every person in the house has a distinct every person in the house has a distinct role. Okay? They have responsibilities. They have things that they are supposed to do. In their position, they have a type of authority. In their position, their authority exists in three ways. Okay, all at the same time. Okay, in three ways. Number one, freedom. Okay, freedom, accountability, and responsibility. Freedom, accountability, and responsibility. Freedom, accountability, and responsibility. Those three things make up authority. When you understand that your child has a type of authority, you then can honor your child. If you understand that your wife has a type of authority, you then can honor your wife. If you understand that your husband has a type of authority, you then can honor your husband. Okay? So as far as the household goes, okay, what is the we already know what the main role of the husband is. Provide and protect. What people get wrong is provision. You don't understand what provision is. You think provision is giving. Like, you think provision is you giving money. That's what providing is. No. Give, the word give, it means to yield to pressure. Giving, it means yielding to pressure. It means you caved when your child asked you for a snack after dinner time. It means, it means you give your wife all the gifts in the world because she says that's what a real man is. And you want to live up to her expectations rather than your purpose. Yielding to pressure is what giving is. Provision, it means to supply the needs of. When you provide, you are just saying, hey, I have this here. If you want some, or if you want your share, come and get it. I'm not going to force it on you, but I can only open up what I have available. That's provision. Now, provision, there might be an access barrier, meaning you might have to be part of the family, or you might be you know, like you might have enough money for this. Like, I sell ebooks, I sell mini courses, I have coaching programs. That's provision. Okay, if you want it, it's here for you to get. But for you to get it, some of it is free, some of it costs money. The stuff that costs money is more valuable for you to transform. Okay, so that's the role of a man: provide and protect. A man cannot protect you if he can't correct you. And the men who can't correct, they're the ones who have the spineless backs. They don't have any initiative. Okay, these are possessed with the Ahab spirit. Okay, so men, provide, protect. Okay, provide, protect. Provide, protect. Also, what's unspoken is decisions. Decisions are on the man. The word decide, it means to cut off. To choose, it means to just pick between. You don't really have to keep this forever, but to choose, it means to just pick between. But to decide, it means to cut off, to cut off. It's the pruning season for some of you. It might be your pruning season, okay? You might have to take somebody out of your life. Not kill them, but you might have to move out of the dang on house. And you knew it all along, and God is forcing you to do it. God might be saying, you don't need to hang out with those friends anymore, those so-called friends of yours. You won't do it, so I'm doing it. Decisions are made from men, typically. Choosing is made from women, typically. Now, what's the role of a woman in the house? Anybody know? I do. Number one is culture. Culture, you women, you wives, you are responsible for culture. Now, what is culture? Culture is music, food, and art. Those three things combined make culture. Music, food, and art. Most houses that I've been in that have had women in it, adult women, they have not taken that responsibility up, and the culture in the house is dead. There's no music being played. You don't have any family reunions. You don't even cook. You don't enjoy cooking. Not that you think cooking is fun, because cooking is not supposed to be fun. Enjoyment is when you are operating in your purpose. Remember what I said about wickedness? The word wicked, it means evil principles. Culture is the responsibility of women. Why don't you have any family reunions? When's the last time you created a recipe book? For real. Setting the tone is your responsibility, women. You walk in the house, put some classical music on so that everybody in the house can decompress. If it's time to clean up on Sunday, you know, put some, I don't know, R&B on, or I don't know, whatever music that gets people's music up, rock and roll, you know. You set the tone. The tone, you know, then people can follow that beat. You know, people follow that beat. I promise you. I promise you. And do not have it on your headphones. It needs to be on so everybody can hear. You're setting the tone. Okay? You're setting the tone. Okay. Oh, sometimes I get asked. I get a question about, well, what if your parents, you know, don't don't listen to you as a child, don't, take your advice. Do we get to tell God how to be God? Why can't God just do this for me? What if I said that as a man? What, especially if he put me in the land of abundance. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going down so many rabbit holes. You are standing on fertile ground that you can plant any seed in. That's what abundance is. You can plant anything you want, but you decide to only plant worry. You decide only to plant gossip. You decide only to plant the Jezebel spirit. You decide to plant poverty. The ground does not matter. It doesn't care what you put in it. It's gonna fertilize it anywhere it is. Abundance. That's abundance right there. People talking about 40 acres and a mule. You have abundance. You can plant whatever you want. And what you reap, you shall. Thank you. I heard some people say it. And when you well, what ends up happening is you exist in spiritual warfare because you think that you think your life is not going as intended. Your life is exactly where you really want it to be. Your life is exactly where you want it to be right now. Wherever it is, that's exactly where you want it to be. We're in abundance. Okay. Now it's navigating, like nurturing the seed. When to water it? When do I prune it? That's the tricky part. Okay. Do I spray, pesticide on it, to get the bugs off? When do I? How do I tend to the seed? Okay. So abundance is for everybody. Abundance is for everybody. Did you know that the glass called abundance is full? It's full to the brim. It's full already. Once you understand that, you can just eat freely from every freaking tree, you'll stop being greedy. There's no need to be greedy because there's no lack. There's literally nothing that you lack. You just have issues pruning the tree, getting those people away. You have issues navigating real life. You have issues with lust. You have issues with envy, with pride, with gluttony, eating until your belly gets full 3 times a day, thinking that you need 3 meals a day. Talk to the human beings 500 years ago. 3 meals a day? We'd be lucky if we get like 2 meals a week. Fasting is important. family is also important. Okay? Family is also important. Anyone who does not provide for their families, anyone who does not provide for their relatives and especially their own household has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. That's in 1 Tim 5 and 8. It's pain right there, isn't it? Anyone who does not provide. Remember, provision and giving are different things. If you provide for your wife and she complains because she wants a Louis, I can't even say it. Some high-end purse. I can't even speak. You give or have access or grant access to the people in your family, to the money that you have, to your wisdom, to your teachings, with prudence, not freely, but with prudence. That's provision. But if you do not offer that up, if you never say to your kids, my heart's open to you. My money is here. You always have a bed here. Always. Even if you're 18 and up. I just made somebody upset. Even if you're over 18 years old and you're my child, you still have a bunk bed in my house. If you need to get your life together, still, you can stay with me first. And then when you're married, move out. Works way better that way. In 1 Timothy 5 and 3, it says, honor widows who are truly widows. Okay, family responsibilities extend outwards, caring for the vulnerable, widows, elderly, and relatives. Putting your parents and grandparents in senior citizens' homes is beyond me. What are we doing here in the United States? What are we doing? That's crazy. I'll never. If I have the opportunity and I hear about one of my relatives going into a senior citizen's home, never. Come stay with me. I'll do my very best. Okay? Joshua, okay, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Families are supposed to be a unit, a tank rolling down the spiritual battlefield together. As for me and my family, we will serve the Lord. We will. Sorry. Oh, I guess it was funny. So, what am I building? Okay, all of everything, all the procrastination courses and ebooks, all the stuff about Jezebel, the ebooks, all of the spiritual redirection books like A Peace Called Love or The Eye of the Empath. All of my coaching is leading up to one thing, and it's your mind. People think your mind is your brain. Did you know that your mind is not even in your brain? Your mind is in your heart, and the Bible tells us that. King Solomon actually tells us that. King Solomon tells us that. Your nestle wisdom deep in your heart. Now, how could I connect your mind being in your heart with that verse? Well, wisdom, remember wisdom, it means spiritual truth. So that means wisdom is not a brain function. You don't gain wisdom from information. You can have a PhD degree, a doctor, 15 doctoral degrees and be unwise and be wicked. Okay? Wisdom is spiritual truth. That's it. So nestle wisdom in your heart. Do you ever wonder why you say, I just had a gut feeling, and you point to your heart? Whenever you think about intuition, oh, I had a gut feeling, and you point to your heart. You don't point to your gut. Why don't you point to your gut? You never point to your gut. You never point to your head. Oh, I had intuition, and went like this. You always say, my intuition told me, my gut feeling, and you point directly to your heart. We receive intuition in our heart. Your mind is in your heart, not your brain. Your mind is a spiritual tool for you to use. It's a spiritual navigator. You're supposed to see life from your mind, from your heart. Not from feelings, but from your mind, the spiritual tool of navigation. Inside of your mind, you have sight, you have appetite, will, and a bunch of other different things, including your imagination. I've discovered it. And all of everything, all your spiritual warfare. If your poverty mindset, if you think things are always after you, if your spiritual gift is a curse, if your mom is a loser, if your dad is just a deadbeat, if you can't get ahead, if you can't scale your business, if you're 6 figures, but you're stuck at 6 figures and you don't want to be working anymore, you want to start your business. This is for that. I'm creating this for that. Okay? And it's true. It works. I've tested it over and over and over and over and over again. It works. If you want to be on the waiting list, send me an email and I'll let you get first access to it. No, it will not be free, but you will have first access to it. I promise you. Okay? Send me an email. Email is in the bio or it's down below for you people on YouTube. Okay? Family is important. Next week, we will be talking about ideas. I sincerely hope this blessed you. Okay, ideas, it's going to be a good topic next week. You don't miss it. Okay? Ideas are actually from God, not from yourself. Love is the only way. No matter what you do, remember, love is the only way. And if you didn't know, now you know.